What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Real Reds Talk, the heart and soul of authentic football fan culture, straight out of Manchester. You are tuned in to Pros and Cons, a show where we pick at the positives and we nag at the negatives. The majority of you know the script by now. We do this after every single game, and last night was no different. So yeah, we're going to dive into all the kind of details within that. Now we've had a bit of time for the dust to settle, and everyone's thinking we're going to win the league because we scored 5 against a heavily rotated Leicester team. Second of all, happy Halloween, everyone. Just want to throw that out there. It is Halloween today. I remember the good old days of Guy Fawkes outside Tesco and trick-or-treating, and it seems to be dying off. I don't get any kids knocking at my door anymore. That sounds a little bit weird, doesn't it? I meant, obviously, trick-or-treating. Just not random kids just knocking at my door. That'd be weird. Anyway, not going to dig myself a deeper hole. That's what's... No, go away from that. From a scarefest at West Ham to happiness at Old Trafford, RUUD at the wheel. Tell me how it feels. How was you guys feeling after the result last night? I'm sure very happy, in isolation. When you look at the result on its own, you can be happy with it. You can look at a couple of performances, and you can have a smile on your face. I think that's what RUUD van Nistelrooy wanted to do. I think that was his main concern yesterday. Getting the players, obviously getting a result and playing well, but then, most of all, getting the fans on his side, getting them happy, getting that good feel around. Because confidence is it's a massive thing in football, isn't it? And we've seen, last time when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer came in, he ended up going on like a 14-win run. Ultimately, it came to a crash again, which is why I'm so hesitant to get ahead of myself. But it's nice. It's nice to see. It's a good result, load of goals, and everyone's smiling. So, yeah, that's great. However, there is a caveat with everything, I believe. And for me, personally, it's not all rainbows and unicorns and floating stars and everything shiny and great and amazing. It's not all that. So what we're going to do is we're going to dive into a couple of negatives. I know we won 5-2, but there's still a couple of negatives that I need to discuss. And this is my first one on the agenda. Diego Dalot, question marks. Look, I thought he looked a little bit shaky in first, I want to say around 30 minutes. Seemed a little bit off the pace. Was playing quite a few wayward passes, a little bit lazy, lost possession on multiple occasions. Something he's been doing the past couple of games. He made up, obviously, with the assist for Garnacho. The cross was really, really good, which I was happy with. But just lapses in concentration, not being... I don't know what it is with Dalot. And people might think I've got a thing against him at the moment. I haven't. I want to say in the past 4, 5, 6, 7 games, I feel like I've seen him made like a couple of mistakes, and some of them have led to goals. And I've referenced him in the past couple of weeks, so I'm not going to go through it again. But if you've watched him, just go back. If you haven't, if you can be asked, go back and watch the past couple of games that we've had and watch Diego Dalot with a close eye specifically, and tell me that he is performing to the level that you think he can. As I've always said, I never, question his personality or like character, should I say, and his application. That's never in question with someone like him. But performance-wise, he needs to step up, because when we play against Chelsea on the weekend, I don't know who's going to be on that side. Maybe it'll be, I'm trying to think, it'll be Madueke, Palm, or Jackson, and maybe Neto. And Neto will give him a run for his money. Maybe it'll be João Felix, I'm not sure, because I'm pretty sure he scored yesterday. So he's going to have a much tougher test than whoever... I couldn't even tell you who he was up against yesterday. So just a concern his form at the moment, I think. And the issue is, you can't drop him. You cannot drop him. Who do you drop him for? Because we've got no fit right backs. I mean, Rajari's on the bench yesterday, but when he comes in, he's going to go to right back, and then Dalot will probably go back over to left back. So he's undroppable, which sometimes isn't great, because they feel like they're going to, get a starting place in the team week in, week out. So that's my first negative. The next one, this might surprise some people, but the reason why I put players' mentality is because some of these players turn up when they want. We saw a similar chapter under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer when he beat Cardiff. You had the likes of Pogba, Lingard, Rashford, Martial, Shaw. All these players just wow, look at him, amazing. Look at the free-flowing, scoring goals, doing this, taking the chances. And you go, well, why was he never doing that under... Why was he never doing that under Erik ten Hag? Because the tactics weren't too dissimilar from what Erik ten Hag was doing. It was still kind of similar principles. And that Leicester team that we played last night, let's have it out, right, was absolute dog meat. That was a heavily rotated team. And it was like Leicester's B team, basically. So you should be scoring that amount of goals with them, the quality that you've got on the pitch. Also, they've obviously got in the back of their minds that they need to impress the new manager. Obviously, RUUD's in there for the meantime, and they'll want to be there. You know, they'll want to be his best mate for a bit. But ultimately, Amorim is going to take over. So this is kind of the pool and the time to showcase your ability now that you deserve a spot in this team. And they'll do it, and they'll be great for 3 months until that fades, and then they'll go back to old habits. Again, people might call me a bit like a negative Nick for saying that, but tell me I'm wrong. Tell me you guys don't feel the same, that a similar situation could happen. The one thing I will definitely say for sure is this group of players will not fool me. I'm telling you. They are obviously better than 14th. Top 4, I'm not too sure. I don't know. But we'll see. Still very open as well. This is the last negative I'm going to discuss, and then I promise I'll get onto the positives. Like I said, a Leicester B team that we played. Do you know how many shots he had yesterday at Old Trafford? 16. Now, the quality of those shots can be thrown into question, but they still scored 2 goals as well. Possession was pretty even. We didn't dominate the game at all. And this is, like I said, it's a crap Leicester team. I mean, Leicester aren't great anyway, but then they've got a heavily rotated team. I felt like there was a similar thing. I know it's better quality than Barnsley, but when we beat Barnsley, I feel like everyone after the game was like, look how many goals we've scored, amazing. You know, take this into the next game. And I can't remember the game after it, but I'm pretty sure we drew, did we not? Or we lost or something. Let me have a look. If I'm blinking Barnsley. Yeah, Barnsley, and then we drew against Crystal Palace 0-0 after that game. So, yeah, I know a lot of you guys are smart and you won't get tricked and you won't fall into the trap of, oh, we're going to go win the league because we beat a Leicester B team 5-2. I know you guys won't. But what I'm saying is some of the stuff that I'm seeing online is nonsense, utter nonsense. Chelsea, like I said, I keep referencing them and I'm going to talk more about them towards the end because they are the next opponent. But if you defend like you did against Leicester last night, and you've got Cole Palmer on the other end of those chances, or Jackson, or Neto, or Madueke, you're going to get absolutely butchered and killed. So, yeah, still open. Way too open, still making too many mistakes. On to the positives. Let's do it. Excuse me. Happy for RUUD. Very, very happy. Look, obviously a legend in his own right. One of the greatest strikers we've ever had, if not the greatest finisher we've ever had. And you could tell what managing the club means to him. He felt that emotion. You could just see that. It's not fake. It's not, you know, showing it off because he's an interim or anything like that. Same thing with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. United mean a lot to these guys. Now, it seems like he's going to get POAK, Chelsea and Leicester. Chelsea, POAK and Leicester in that order before Amorim comes in, because it looks like Amorim's going to be in charge for the Ipswich game after the international break. So he's got, you know, he's getting more games than Michael Carrick had. He's got a chance to either, I don't know how they're going to say this to him, like showcase if you do want to go into management. Let's see what you've got. I know it's a very small sample size. And there is context with it being, you know, a bit of a manager bounce. But I really want to see how he performs against Chelsea, how they stop performing against Chelsea. Because if you get a result there, you know, it might be a short time, it might be 3 or 4 games, but you can make a real impact in Europe and in the league if we get a decent result. Because I was looking at the league table before, and yes, it looks doom and gloom at the minute, but anyone knows you have a bit of an upturn in form. I mean, we're on 11 points at the minute, Chelsea are on 17. We beat Chelsea, and we go 3 points behind them. You know what I mean? And Chelsea's supposed to have a really good season under Maresca, so the narrative can flip like that. Likewise with the Europa League table, I know we're 24th or something with 3 draws, 3 points. Yeah, 21st with 3 points. You win that, you know, Lyon are on a 10th with 6 points. So you can just go up the table like that. I'm not saying it's easy, but you can start getting some winning momentum, some confidence in the side before Amorim comes in. And then you've got a game against Ipswich, and then you've got Arsenal in December, which is like the really, really big test to see where we're at. And who knows? Things can change very, very quickly. Last night's game was a tap-in for me. It was always going to be goals. I said it even before it kicked off. You guys said it before it kicked off. You could see a 3-1, 4-1. It was one of those games. You know, you're measuring stickers at Leicester City in the Carabao Cup, is it? So I'm interested to see, just for RUUD specifically, what he does now when Amorim does come in. Does he stay on as an assistant coach? Does he, move on to find a manager's job? He obviously, I think, in the post-match presser last night, when he was being asked questions, he was like, I want to stay, I want to help out. So how they merged the two together, I don't know, because I think it was Ten Hag's agent who suggested bringing RUUD in, and Ten Hag wanted to bring him as well. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with him, but he's a legend. I'm happy he's happy, and he's one win in the bag, 100% win record, one might say. On to the next positives. The Casemiro turnaround, the renaissance, the revival, call it whatever you want. Scored a banger last night, scored a second as well, and could have had a third. He was on a hat-trick. Contributes a lot offensively for a defensive player. I know Ugarte was in the team yesterday as well, and he was sweeping up a bit, and he was good. He almost got onto the positives because he was good last night, but I still expect a bit more from him. Casemiro, he's always, since he's come in, obviously at Real Madrid, when he was in the midfield, they had Kroos and Modric dictating a lot of the attacking play, and he would just be the destroyer. But at United, he's actually, his assists and his goals are up there for like a defensive midfield player. Seemed a lot happier. Obviously, he had some kind of discontent with the manager. There was back and forths. Remember the FA Cup final where he jetted off straight away, and there was something there between them. Whether it is, I don't think it was on a personal level, but football wise, there was something there. And then we had the mistakes that were made against Liverpool, which I think really damaged his confidence. But there is, and I'm going to be, not a hypocrite, that's the wrong word, but I'm going to go against my opinion that I said after the Liverpool game, he's done. Because I was like, he's too reckless. His pocket gets picked all the time. He seems to be off the tempo a little bit. And even though he looks a bit leaner and he's a bit more mobile, now he's starting to get pushed off the ball a little bit more. So I hadn't completely wrote him off, but I was like, it's very unlikely that you're going to see this upturn in form. But we had a similar thing with the Man Utd. It seems like there's still a player there, but maybe he just needs to be used correctly. And whether Amorim will, I don't know, because I think Amorim will probably push more towards an Ugarte-Mainu partnership personally, but we just don't know until he comes in and has a look at the team. But yesterday, in isolation, Casemiro was a monster. Another monster. Garnacho on track. You know, what they want from a football player year in, year out is to improve. At the minute, he's averaging a goal involvement every 89 minutes. 6 goals and 4 assists in all competitions. He's got 10 goals and 5 assists in all comps last season. So he's already on track to beat that. He's definitely going to do it. Relentless, took his goal well, a constant threat, got an assist as well. Still only 19 years old. Will he be prolific under Amorim? This is why I'm like, this new manager's coming in. These are some of our better players. So you would say in form right now at the minute, Garnacho, Casemiro, Eriksen. Will any of those players feature with Ruben Amorim? If you've watched how he plays, where's Garnacho going to fit in? Where's Eriksen going to fit in? You know, question marks, a lot of question marks. But no doubt, I'm sure Ineos would have kind of put this out, laid it out on a map to him and said, Ruben, we want to develop Ghana. We want to develop Kobbie Mainoo. We've got all this young talent. We need to get the absolute best out of him. And he's like, yeah, we could work with him. So that's fine. But when we wrap it all up, the positives into one, I think you could say it was the perfect response, can't you? The perfect response. After the absolute depressing week that we've had following Ten Hag's sacking and the defeat against West Ham, we needed a perfect reply, a show of strength as we're kind of entering this new era. I said it before the game. We could have easily been distracted, I suppose, by everything that is ongoing. You know, is the manager here? Is he not? Have they paid the compensation package? What's happened to Ten Hag? Has he gone back to like all this kind of stuff? The media whirlwind that's been, which always happens when a new manager's coming in. They could have been distracted, I suppose, but they showed unity. I thought for the most part, they performed well, and obviously a result like that helps ease a little bit of pressure on the team. But Chelsea, I will reiterate it again, is where they will be properly judged. But yeah, after 18 months of the whirlwind that we've had with the injuries, the performances, the goals conceded, the shots conceded, just all that kind of stuff, and wrapped up into one giant shit whirlwind. It's nice to see the players happy and free flowing in isolation. So yeah, where does that leave us, you ask? Well, like I said, Ruben Amorim coming in soon. In regards to the Carabao Cup, I believe we've got Tottenham in the quarter-final, and it's away. So a chance to get some revenge there, because obviously they dicked us at Old Trafford 3-0, so I'm definitely interested in that tie. We had the Leicester City boss, Nees Cooper, coming out last night about the Old Trafford atmosphere, saying it wasn't what we were expecting, it wasn't intimidating at all, it was good to play in, but you still got piped 5-2 Sneeze, sorry, so shut your gob, take an antihistamine, and take a seat, pal. And then we have, so that's the Carabao Cup aside. Then we've got Chelsea at the weekend. Who starts in that game? We shall see when we do the preview. I think we're doing the preview tomorrow, but I'll double check. Should be tomorrow in the afternoon time. Maybe we could even squeeze it in tonight. I'm not sure. I'll have a chat with the lads and then we'll dive into that. And we also had news breaking today from the Telegraph that Sporting are expected to announce today that a full agreement has been reached with United for Ruben Amorim, 10 million in compensation. He will join in the international breaks. First game will be 24th of November, Ipswich. So we'll have a couple of weeks to work with the players, which is nice. I'm not mad at that, to be honest with you. Not mad at it at all. So he'll have time to work with the players. And hopefully we'll start to see a bit of, an identity, a style of play. And also Ruben Amorim will be playing Man City in the Champions League on Tuesday. So if you want to have a closer look at him, if you haven't watched any of his football yet, because you can't be asked watching the Portuguese league, that's absolutely fine. They play City on Tuesday. So we'll see what he's about. And the record in Champions League is all right at the moment. They're unbeaten in the league. So should set it up for an interesting tie. I'm sure their viewing figures for the first time ever in City's history. It might break the record just because United fans are tuning in to see what Ruben Amorim's about. So that's funny, isn't it? Yeah. And this is where we get into your thoughts, people. So this is your section. I'm going to read out some of your questions, your views. And so if there's any pros or negatives that I've missed out that you think I should discuss, get them in the comment section right now for the next 5 minutes and we'll go through them together. Okay? Lucky Singh. I'm former looking quick play, looking box, midfield or double pivot, 3 defence midfield, use Casemiro, Ugarte, Amas, Eriksson, Ahmad. I have no idea what that means. Hope you're good, Nick. My damn United, brother. Hope you're well as well. Rokan, RUUD is a good coach, but his tactics is too offensive. Look, when you've watched RUUD at PSV, you know what he's about. Do you know what I mean? Like you know it's we've mentioned this so many times on this channel that it's not too dissimilar for what Ten Hag was doing. Transitional, direct football. Yeah, there's a couple of tweaks here and there. He's a lot more heavily reliant on the wingers, and he didn't really have a plan B at PSV. I know he finished second. He won a couple of cups, but so did Ten Hag in the Eredivisie. So that's probably why I'm guessing Ineos haven't seriously looked at it. As bringing him in on full time, but one can only speculate at this point. But I do agree, I wouldn't have, as a United fan, I don't think I would have been happy if he said, we don't need to go and get a manager, we've got RUUD here, he's going to be the next manager, because we've tried, I'm not saying he's similar to Ollie, but we've tried the interim thing before, where it's like an ex-player, and then it's just, we've been down that route. Amorim is one of the best young, up-and-coming coaches in Europe. His style of football at Sporting is really nice to watch. A lot of high intensity, a lot of high pressure. And people could say, well, how are they going to get these players to do it? Because Ten Hag couldn't do it. It's a very great question. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. What he's done at Sporting, though, breaking that kind of mould of Porto and Benfica winning the league every year, and to make them the team in Portugal is, it's a feather in his cap. So, yeah. I think he was the right decision. He weren't my number one choice. I wanted to go and get Tuchel in because I thought everything we need as a club at the moment. Like, just think off the top of your head, what are we struggling with? Form in Europe, conceding stupid goals, conceding a lot of shots, struggling against the big teams, losing against Liverpool, losing against Spurs. And people argue if they're a big team or not. But I'm saying a team that's traditionally in the top 6 or 8 or whatever. Drawing against Villa as well, of course. And Tuchel would have come in, and I think he would have polished all that up. But, I'll take Amorim. Because Amorim at United, Tuchel at England, fuck knows. We might both win something. You know what I mean? Which would be good. Superfly, big up yourself, saying so was Erik ten Hag up and coming, but fans didn't back him. They backed the Deadwood, and the same will probably continue. Yeah, look, I think the players need to become accountable at some point. Marcus Rashford has had how many different managers? Van Gaal, Mourinho, Ole, Rangnick, Ten Hag, RUUD, Amorim. I know a couple of them are interims. Carrick as well, I think I mentioned. That needs to, not just Marcus, by the way, there's other players. I mean, Lindelof's had Jose, Ole, Rangnick, and now Amorim as well. There's players there that have had multiple different managers. So I'm not just targeting Marcus, but I'm saying, when does it come a point? Because you can't sack the players. They'll never sack the players, will they? It's always the manager who gets it in the neck. So, look, if we bring in another manager and them same players continue to, you can't be talking about, oh, well, maybe, he's not getting the best out of him, and maybe we need to do this, and maybe we need to do that. I'm sure Ten Hag will go elsewhere. He'll probably be successful, and he'll probably win trophies. I don't think his style was ever sustainable to go on and really challenge for a Premier League title or anything like that. There was too many games. I heard a stat last night. Listen to this, by the way. I wish I could remember it specifically, but it's a really good stat that I was listening to. So, Ten Hag's time in charge at Man United, overall, I think he had a minus 11 goal difference. Just overall, in terms of goals scored and goals conceded. I think Man City's under Pep is 150 goals they've got. Now, that's a very rough stat. I can't remember what the specifics, but it's something along the lines of that. That is fucking nuts. We conceded way too many goals, way too many shots, and we was way too open. And I think Amorim coming in with this back five system, the way it's implemented, the way they really pack out the middle and they'll force you wide, I think it's going to be much more useful. I think he'll get the best out of some of the players like Ugarte. Yoro coming into the side will really help. Bruno will be deployed much further up because he has kind of inverted 10s behind the striker. I think you'll get the best out of Højlund. Yeah, I think it's some interesting qualities that Amorim has, and I think his tactics are interesting. But again, it's replicating it in the Premier League, innit, I suppose. Let's see what happens. But thank you very much for tuning in to Pros and Cons. We do this after every single game. You guys know the script by now. Please do, if you can, before you head off, leave a like on the video for us. Subscribe to the channel. We are on 7,332. And leave any comments at all that you thought about the game. That I might have missed some positives. I might have missed some negatives. Talk to me about the Chelsea game. Talk to me about RUUD's first game. Amorim coming in. Leave it all in, you know what I'm saying, comment section. So take it easy, people. I'll see you later on.